This week, we're talking about the benefits of preparing an organizational chart for your household staff. Now, most of my clients roll their eyes when I make this suggestion for their household staff, right? They're housekeepers, they're landscapers. But this is true even if you have a family office, if you have a CFO, if you have a chief of staff, if you have a director of residence, estate managers, etc. This one sheet visualization of how your properties are managed and who goes to whom is really critical. It's critical for any size business, but I look at household management as a maybe not so small business. So let's talk about why we need to spend a little bit of time and organize this. The benefits are essential to having operations run smoothly inside of your home. Org charts do a number of things, and I'm going to give you five really important benefits. The first one is that for any organization, it's nice to see the scale of what it takes to manage each individual home and the financial aspects of this as far as HR is concerned, additionally as all the vehicles and contents, etc. It helps to build that visual picture for everyone. Now, this can be a simple PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to provide an example of that in a link below. But it also can be done with Post-it notes. Put them on a mirror, put them on a whiteboard, and move these things around. The second benefit is when you start building this organizational chart, you're going to start to identify maybe some missing pieces, some missing roles within your organization. That is probably the single most important pinch point for your staff is when you're missing a key component to your management team or to your household team. And this visual image allows you to see it much more clearly. The third benefit, I would say, is it helps you define roles. So when you start to put the visual graphic together, you start to see where the overlaps happen. And overlaps in staffing aren't a good thing. That's the rub point. That's the point of conflict for most staff members. And as a homeowner, you may not even know that these exist because your staff are going to hide it from you, any conflict. But I can guarantee you, if you have a house manager, an estate manager, chief of staff, they know where those rub points are. And maybe you're not allowing them to fix them, or maybe they're not highlighting the importance of these. But again, this podcast is all about creating more functional household teams so that you can retain your world-class staff. And if you've got points where people aren't feeling heard, their problems aren't being solved, eventually they will get tired, they may burn out, and they may move along to something that they hope is more functional, more sane, and more sustainable. The fourth benefit is that we get to outline clear channels of communication, including staff request, time off request, review request, submittals of proposals. Those approval processes now have a clear outline of who they need to go to. They just work their way up the chain. If a housekeeper needs time off, they know exactly who to go to. They don't go to the principal to get answers for that. They go to their house manager, estate manager, chief of staff, etc. But if everybody has this information, there is no question about how inappropriate it is for the housekeeper, the landscaper, maintenance tech, or whomever to go to the principal when there's other layers of management that are more appropriate. And the fifth Benefit of this organizational chart for your household staff is that everyone understands that chain of command. I can tell you, as a private service professional for a number of years, that not knowing that chain of command, that level of confusion about going to the wrong person, and they'll say, I'll take care of that, or I'll submit that request. And then you don't hear from them, or that you don't get the proper feedback, or you're not getting your needs met as a staff member, is incredibly frustrating. It shows in your work, it shows in your attitude, and over time, and these aren't small isolated incidences, but as these incidences build and accumulate over the months, the years, this becomes a point of becoming a disgruntled employee, some place where you don't want to stay because you're not feeling heard. So why do all this work? Well, first, it is important if you want to and need to step out of the role of micromanaging. If you actually want to live a life that's not driven by your household maintenance calendar, by your staffing questions and accountability and HR duties, if you really want to put someone else in charge of all of these household operations, it doesn't mean that you step out of the creative end or the financial end of managing these assets, but the day-to-day operations really need to be structured more so as a business, as a small to a medium to maybe even a large business, in that way. But primarily, this is peace of mind for the homeowner. Stay as actively involved as you want to, but if you really want to step out of the day-to-day operations, this is part one of getting organized and turning this over to someone else and knowing that your demands, your needs, your family's needs are in someone else's hands, and that you feel comfortable knowing how it's all going to be managed. So that's what I've got this week. I hope it's helpful information.